Animals can be very vulnerable, especially if they like getting stuck somewhere, falling down, or wandering into dangerous places. Today, we'll show you many heartwarming moments of animals being saved. This firefighter saved a cat when he noticed it in one of the burning apartments. Thanks to the timely help and a heart massage, the cat stayed alive and its owner was very grateful to the rescuers. This man noticed a cat that fell into a canal and couldn't get out. He decided to save the poor animal. Cats are well known to be fond of cardboard boxes, and this time, a box saved this cat's life. This puppy lost consciousness during a fire, and this firefighter brought it back to life with CPR.
Dios mío, ¿qué? Eso.
During a wedding, one of the guests saw that a dog needed help, so he came to the animal's aid. Later, he was joined by another person, and finally, the dog was saved. Looks like this wedding had an extra +1 added to the guest list. And this girl sacrificed a pipe to free a bird.
Oh my God!
And here's another example of an animal trusting a human when it needs help. Isn't it adorable? These people untangled the turtle from the fishing line and released it back into the water. If only it could talk, it would definitely say thank you. This man noticed a drowning baby fox and immediately jumped into the water without even taking his clothes off. Insects also approach people for help. Look at this praying mantis. It's not even scared.
Here you go. Here you go. Just run that way, this way.
This guy tried to explain to a deer how to get off the highway, and he succeeded.
Atta boy, jump over.
Well, almost. Now he did.
Yes! Oh, live on another day.
These fishermen accidentally caught a 400-pound ray, so they called a team of professionals to save it. First, they found a place best suited for releasing this giant, did some tests, and finally... This baby goat was loudly crying because its head was stuck in a wheel. Thankfully, people didn't just stand by. This dog had a seizure, so the dog's owner supported the animal with her kindness. The dog is now fine.
He's still up there. Is he still alive?
It's hard to say how long this heron was hanging on its own beak, fighting for its life. But now it's saved thanks to a kind fisherman who managed to free the bird using his fishing rod.
Let's see.
A man saved a monkey from a pack of dogs, but it stopped breathing because of an injury. He swooped in with a heart massage and a mouth-to-mouth. And here's an incredible moment of a kitten being rescued a second before death. Just listen to the cries of this poor dog. It was hungry and scared, but it entrusted its life to caring people who took the dog to a shelter and brought it back to life. And here's another example of placing 100% trust in people. A 60,000-pound humped whale was stranded on the shore, and take a look at the way people united to help it. An eagle found itself in an ice trap 100 feet from the nearest land after a polar vortex. It was very lucky to be noticed by people. They brought the eagle closer to land where it could find solace.
Dog in the car?
And here, a police officer came to a dog's aid when it got stuck in a burning SUV. Take a look at the way it expressed gratitude for its savior. And these guys saw an eagle standing on the side of the road, waiting for someone to stop and give it water. And here's what a true hero looks like. Watch this man risk his own life to get an eagle out of a swamp. Thanks to these people, the baby bird thinks it's being fed by its mom. That's why it's not afraid. People heard cries for help coming from a ditch, only to find a dying puppy with head trauma. The puppy was so weak that its nose kept dropping into water. Thankfully, it was treated, and now the pup is perfectly fine. And these guys are not just railway workers, they are real heroes. They jumped off a moving train to rescue a chamois that was buried under the snow by a different passing train. And here's how they rescued a baby elephant in Zimbabwe after it got stuck in the mud after a long drought. A dog found itself in a water trap and would have drowned if it weren't for the rescue crew. Look at how obedient it is, knowing they are trying to help it. This little guy is still so young, but with a big heart. This tiny puppy had a very slim chance of survival when it was hit by a train. Thankfully, its cries were heard by people who saved its life. And this dolphin swam right up to the divers in the hopes of being freed from a fishing line. Now it's free, but check this out. It's not in any rush to swim away, thanking its savior instead. This poor baby bird was unconscious from dehydration after a severe heat wave, but a person got there just in time. The bird was too weak to drink, but it gradually came to. When a drowning squirrel was rescued from a swimming pool, the situation appeared hopeless. Thankfully, the rescuer knew how to perform first aid on squirrels. It's very difficult to capture a frightened deer, all the while holding on with one hand to stop you from falling. But in the end, this guy succeeded.
Ух ты, красавчик! Ни хера вы красавцы!
Just listen to the heartbreaking cries of this scared, injured, and cold puppy. But when it realized that people won't harm it, the puppy settled down and calmly went to a clinic with them.
Aren't you glad you came with me?
What would have happened to the little dolphin if it weren't for this kind man? And here, everyone deserves praise. The person rescuing the cat and the cat who understood the assignment. This porcupine swam towards people so that they could help it get on dry land. And this person sacrificed himself to protect his dog from 2 American Staffordshire Terriers. This person freed a koala from the netting, but what is it doing instead of running away? Have a look at the way this dog climbs into the boat to save itself. And how about this look full of gratitude? This Pakistani kid is very poor, and to make a living he sells plastic he finds on the streets, and yet he regularly buys milk for a stray cat. Now that's what you call a quick reflex. This osprey got tangled in a fishing line, and in addition, the hook injured its right wing. But despite the pain, the bird is trying very hard to get to the boat. This mom cow was loudly calling for help because her calf fell into a hole. Thanks to its rescuer, the calf was reunited with its mother. And this koala was stuck in a tree because of a flood. It was lucky to be noticed by people in a canoe. These guys came together to rescue a baby goat. Six ducklings were crying loudly as they fell through a storm drain. Getting them out wasn't easy, but the rescue team succeeded.
Don't be silly. Stop it.
The baby swan was stuck in the fence, but its mother had nothing to worry about. It was in good hands.
Look. Come on, he's coming with you. Come on, there's a good boy. There's a good boy. Come on. Come on. There he is, look. Go on.
The leg of this horse got stuck in the fence wire, and it's hard to say how long it would have stayed there if humans didn't come to its rescue. Fortunately, it wasn't injured, and after a while, it was able to run again. This diver caught a fish, but a hungry shark stole it for itself. Unfortunately, it bit off more than it could chew. And as a result, the diver had to help the shark. What other option did she have? Of course, dolphins can survive for a little while without water, but they need help to avoid dying if they are beached. And so, many thanks to this person. And this monkey realized that humans are its only chance, and it was right.
Segura. Dá licença, Marcelo. Calma, calma, vai. Que animal.
Mouth open and say
Yes, not gonna
Want me to?
A pelican voluntarily came up to people walking on the beach. Turns out, it has a triple hook stuck in its beak. Thankfully, they managed to extract it. When people build roads, they never think of the animals. And here are the consequences. This baby moose was entirely covered in asphalt. A rescue team came to its aid to clear off the moose's fur. This person got a baby monkey out from underneath the ruins and returned it to its mom. Just look at her reaction. This kangaroo fell into a canal during high tide. And take a look at how desperately the animal is begging humans for help. Now that the kangaroo is all right, it can run away, but its gaze speaks volumes. On his 21st birthday, the snowboarder decided to take a ride on fresh snow. His plans changed when he came across a horse stuck in the snow. What a day! Took a snowboard ride and rescued a horse that was reunited with its owners 4 days later. This guy heard a desperate cry from a ditch and realized that there's a living being in the bag. Turns out someone was very cruel to a grown cat. Thankfully, this story has a happy ending. That's the condition the puppy was in when people found it. But wait till you see what it looks like today. Beautiful antlers can turn into a big problem, just as it happened to this deer. Thankfully, people didn't leave it in trouble. A cat nearly became a victim of a python, but the fearless locals saved it, and they were really risking their lives.
Нашли какую-то сетку, увидели, скрученную.
These fishermen noticed that a baby whale tangled in a net approached their boat. They freed the poor animal and pulled the netting out of the water. If only we had more people acting like that.
Давай, родной.
This poor elk got so stuck in a snowed-in swamp, it couldn't move at all. When it was freed, it immediately ran to its friend, who waited patiently the whole time. What could this look mean?
Будет жить нормально все. Давайте, ребята.
This sloth must have confused some cables for tree branches and was in real danger as a result. Risking his own life, this man tried to help the sloth, and it's obediently doing everything required. And this fox cub was loudly crying after getting stuck in some netting. At first, it was very frightened, but then realized that people were there to rescue it. Just take a look at such trust between an animal and a human. Do you think this guy is in search of crude oil? Nope, just rescuing a goat. And here's an incredible rescue of a deer that walked onto the ice and had frostbite on its feet, preventing the animal from getting back to safety. Finally, the saviors managed to free the deer, now faced with the difficult task of warming the animal back up. But the most incredible thing about it is how the deer is not at all afraid of the human. Instead, it is grateful.
Тогда завтра пойдем к доктору, ветеринару, укольчики ставить, да?
To pull a cow out of a well, people had to use a huge tractor, and they succeeded too. How could they not? When a dog fell under the ice, it was a matter of minutes before the animal couldn't be rescued due to cold water. With great difficulty, the men managed to get the dog, and it quickly understood what to do. People noticed a deer standing on the side of the road begging for help. Its face was crushed with ice to the point the animal couldn't even open its eyes. When people approached the deer, it didn't even try to run, and that was a good call. Now the deer is safe and sound. A moose got stuck on a railway and people organized an entire rescue mission. In the end, the animal was saved and delivered back to the woods. But it doesn't look like it's in a rush, almost like it's trying to say thank you. And here's what a removal of the rhinoceros horn looks like to deter poachers who kill these animals for their horns. They are made of keratin, just like human nails, which means they keep growing back. As for the noise, the animal is wearing headphones, so it's not too scared. Can someone explain to me how this cow's head got stuck in the tree? It was definitely very lucky that there was a person nearby. A bear got stuck on a power pole and survived by some miracle, thanks to the fact the help arrived just in time.
All right, little bear. Time to get off this pole.
And this elk came to people with the head of its opponent stuck to its antlers. Unfortunately, the operator was powerless.
If the bucket had filled with water.
And this fearless man jumped into the icy waters to rescue a deer with a bucket on its head. A little while later, his friend came with a boat and they started to act. And finally,
you can see.
It was great seeing her run off.
In Samsun, a seagull got caught on a fishing hook attached to the electric cables. Within 7 hours, the bird was rescued. But even after its liberation, it kept going back, pecking its saviors. This guy saved a drowning sparrow, but he didn't expect the bird to get so attached to its savior that it would sit on his head. This German Shepherd was standing on the fence, tangled in barbed wire and practically begging for help. Many people just drove past it, but thankfully there were caring and compassionate people who stopped to help the dog. This fox couldn't get out of the hole, and thankfully, a man lowered a rope down to help the animal. It's a good thing that this fox was savvy enough to quickly realize how to get out. This story deserves its own animated film about Bambi's adventures. This baby deer was rescued from a fast-flowing river by several people who risked their own life to save the animal. Did you know how much a regular elastic band can damage a shell? Thank goodness this turtle was freed, and hopefully it will have an easier life going forward. In India, a donkey fell into a septic tank at a construction site. After being stuck in the sewage for 24 hours, the animal was very grateful to be rescued. To save this German Shepherd from the river, several men, including people from a rescue squad, tried to get it out. After many failed attempts, the dog was finally saved and returned to its owner. This dog fell under the ice and had no way to save itself. Thankfully, the rescue team got there in time, holding the dog out of the water. Now, all it has to do is dry off and warm up. Sometimes the tide throws sea turtles onto dry land, and if they are upside down, they cannot flip over and get back into the water. This guy found a giant turtle on the shore and saved it by turning it the right way up. And here, a Ukrainian rescue squad is working hard to dig a puppy from under the rubble. A bit of persistence and human's best friend is saved.
Спасибо хлопчикам, що швидко, оперативно все зробили тут.
In the Philippines, two divers noticed a huge manta ray with a fishing line cutting through its wing. These guys removed the fishing line from the devilfish, and we hope that the wing will heal soon. This guy spotted a turtle in the middle of the road and saved it from being crushed, taking it to a safe place afterwards. The owner forgot to close the window, and the neighbor had to save the poor pet that got stuck in the gap. Dogs are like children. You have to keep a close eye on them. A dolphin was beached, and as if that weren't bad enough, it was tangled in a net. Fortunately, the animal was quickly freed and returned into the water. You don't have to save the world to be a hero. You can just save a cat that got stuck in the window, just like this downstairs neighbor with a long stick. Using an excavator, this guy rescued 3 ducks that were stuck in the mud. This person helped a deer whose antlers were stuck in the edges of the pier. Just look at the scared but grateful eyes of the animal. This horse was stuck in the fast river and couldn't move. Rescuers had to use a helicopter to carefully transport the horse to safety. In India, a baby leopard got into a huge well. It was rescued using a large net. Once it was back on dry land, the wet kitten ran away to its mom.
Look at him.
A tiny baby possum got stuck in the stream and was rescued by 3 people who then decided to have it as their pet.
Oh, he's got me.
This guy found a seagull tangled in the fishing line and decided to save it despite the bird's attempts to fend him off. A couple of swift movements and the bird is safe.
Be a lot easier if I had 2 hands, mate. Just make sure that's all the fishing line and he's free to go.
Garbage often brings harm to wild animals. This duck got stuck in a plastic ring and lost the ability to feed. A woman noticed the poor bird and cut the ring off. Military action hurts animals just as much as it does people. Look at these cats, rescued and fed by this bearded dude that came to Irpin. A girl took care of this sparrow from the day it hatched. A bird with a deformed beak would struggle to grow up in the wild. Thankfully, this sparrow is safe now. A whale was beached on one of the shores in Brazil. The animal spent almost 20 hours on dry land while people worked hard to get it back into the water. Not every person will be brave enough to rescue animals from the war zone, getting them out of their enclosures that are under fire. Thanks to courageous people like this guy, kangaroos are safe. This guy found a butterfly lost in a pipe and used his tape measure to rescue the insect. Original, but effective.
Here we go with the Chronicles of a Trash Man.
The driver of the garbage truck discovered kittens among the trash and got them out. Sometimes animals need to be saved from other people.
Yep, here we go again. Oh, come here. Oh, Jesus Christ. There's another one. Hold on. Stay in there. There you go. Stay in there. See if there's any more.
These guys are trying to help a whale that got tangled in a fishing net. This operation takes a lot of time and patience, but their persistence is admirable. which is what saved this whale's life. For this dog that nearly drowned in a canal, a person became a saving grace. The guy grabbed the dog with his legs to pull it out of the water.
Oi!
Even sharks need help sometimes. This guy noticed a small beached shark and returned it into the water. And here are Ukrainian firefighters saving a cat from a house damaged by a military missile. Just look how carefully the firefighter gets the animal out. The pet is safe and sound, and even after a shock like that.
Тепер котик п'є воду.
This fox got stuck in the fence and couldn't move until a man noticed and saved her.
Oh, my boy, that was lucky, wasn't he? Oh, that's a fella. All right, my boy. You have got stuck. Let's have a look at you. But that was a lucky escape, because that would have died before much longer if he got stuck like that.
A sheriff's deputy races to a car fire.
This police officer ran to rescue a dog from a burning vehicle without a second thought.
And tosses Hank into the snow.
Look how grateful the animal is for being rescued. This cobra got its head stuck in a metal can, and despite the danger of this venomous snake, men helped the cobra and moved it to a place that was safer for other people. A baby fox got its head stuck in a can and was desperately crying for help. Thankfully, the cub was rescued, and now it is safe. Saving animals from people is hard work. This horse was severely malnourished, but thankfully there were compassionate people who saved it. And this tiger got its head stuck in a box, but managed to get out of the trap all on its own. Even ripped the box to pieces for frightening it. And this is an incredible show of friendship between a dog and an elephant. Check out how adorable they look playing in the water. A small wild bird was hiding out from the 113-degree Australian heat in a car with people. And even once it felt better, the bird was not in any rush to leave its saviors. Oh, these pesky little ducklings. Their mom had a very stressful afternoon, but at least this story has a happy ending. And this hedgehog was dehydrated and sick. I think we should all carry water with us exactly for such occasions. During low tide, this sea turtle got stranded on the shore upside down, but it was very lucky to be found by these guys because high tide wasn't due for another few weeks. The foot of a fox got stuck in the football net, and it took real effort to free it. Thankfully, there were no injuries and the cub was able to return to its mom without any problems. The burrow of this raccoon collapsed and it was trapped. Thankfully, two teenage brothers noticed it and managed to dig the animal out with their dad's help. In search for food, 4 puppies got stuck in spilled tar. They couldn't move at all, but they still managed to cry for help. To clean the tar off their fur, people had to use oil and dishwashing fluid. And here's what they look like now. This 6-day-old elephant was abandoned by the herd due to illness, but the locals saved it. Look how grateful the animal is to them. If it weren't for these guys, the sloth would have crossed the road in record time. Only a week or so. A whole rescue team was needed to save a horse that got stranded during a flood. Look at the way the horse greets them with so much hope, knowing that these people are here to help. This boat was a saving grace for a drowning bear cub. Just look at all the effort it makes to climb aboard. And this elephant approached the doctors of its own volition so that they could treat the string headache. Turns out someone shot the elephant in the head and the bullet got stuck in the skull. Just a fraction of an inch further and the animal would have been dead. The elephant had surgery and now it's doing perfectly fine. This stray dog was starving for so long it turned into a living mummy. It was too famished to move. Fortunately, people responded to its cries for help and nursed it back to health. And this penguin escaped hungry orcas by jumping into a tourist boat. This leopard's head got stuck in a metal pot when the animal was searching for water. Watch the way this wild predator calmly entrusts its life to people.
Look at this little guy.
Imagine this couple's surprise when they found 7 fox cubs under their terrace. But where's their mom? Either way, people took great care of the cubs. But look what happens. The mom fox returns and collects her children one by one. The ear of this poor puppy was seriously injured and it was dealing with the pain alone until the puppy was found by people. Unfortunately, it lost the ear, but at least it found a family and a happy life. And here, people are delivering cows from mountain ranges to comfortable alpine meadows. This sheep was stuck in a fence and was thrashing uncontrollably, trying to break free. Look how quickly it calmed down when it realized this guy was there to help.
Come on, buddy.
The police officers saved these ducklings that fell into the drain and returned these babies to their mother. This dog came to people for help, hoping they would take the plastic off the animal's head. Look how grateful it is. These divers noticed a large turtle heading their way. Someone must have been very cruel, plunging a spear into the animal's neck. Thankfully, this story has a happy ending. This guy found a dog hiding in an abandoned van from the cold. It was -59 degrees Fahrenheit. Turns out, someone shot it in the leg, and the bullet fractured the bone. The guy who found the dog brought it with him and nursed it back to health. And here, mountain bikers called a wildlife biologist to rescue a foal stuck in a mud pit. This baby owl fell out of its nest and patiently waited while people were building a ladder to return the bird. As a result, the owlet is back where it belongs and will continue bringing letters from Hogwarts for years to come.
Kurban olurum seni yaradana.
A man noticed an injured puppy in the road, and look how happy the mom was to get some help.
Gel, yardım edeceğim yavruma gel.
Fortunately, they are both okay now.
Korkma.
These people came together to take this thing off the animal's head. Think about the risk they were taking. It's a good thing they managed to run off afterwards. Otherwise, they'd be the ones who needed help. And to rescue this seagull stuck in the power lines, they needed a whole helicopter. A cat with a broken leg came to the hospital to get a cast. This baby deer got stuck in a fence and loudly cried due to the resulting pain. Thankfully, people heard the animal and came to its aid. These people helped a pigeon that fell down their chimney. They released the bird, but notice how it's not in any rush to fly away. It only goes once it's had a chance to say goodbye. Take a look at the way people rescue dogs during a flood in India. And here's an example of a great way to use a remote-controlled car. This turtle was in trouble being so far away from the water, but thankfully this guy was there to help. And this leopard could never get out of this deep well if it weren't for the people that came to its aid. This guy is taking care of a dog like it's his dear friend. Firefighters got this pit bull out of a burning house, and it took a lot of effort to bring it back to life.
Ну чего, будем жить-то? А?
Чухивайся.
And here, people saved a baby tamarin and returned it to its mother. A few fox cubs made a home under this woman's desk. When one of them had its head stuck into a jar, it came to her for help. An entire village gathered to help a wounded elephant. First, they pulled it out of the water with great effort. Then it was time to heal the animal. This person held a drip bag for several hours, and their efforts were not in vain. This eagle asked for some water on a hot day. How could you say no?
Смотри, какой хороший.
This pony was born with only 3 legs, and now it's walking for the first time in its life, thanks to the person who made a prosthetic for the pony. Great job all around. Everyone did their part. The dog swimming towards the people, the man risking his life, and the people that stopped him from falling in. The antlers of these 2 deer were locked together, and the poor animals were on the brink of death. Just imagine how difficult it was to separate the animals using a chainsaw without hurting them. But it ended well. This little hungry bear cub was left without a mother, so it came to people for help. This person walked into the icy lake to rescue a deer and bring it to dry land. This bird was so weak when it was found that it couldn't eat. Thankfully, a volunteer by the name of Dimbadu Babu brought it back to life, nursed it back to health, and released it back to nature. In the zoo, the meat to feed the lions was brought to them in barrels. One time, at feeding time, this lion's head got stuck. Fortunately, the animal patiently waited for the vet who was able to help. That's the state this dog was found in. Just look at the clumped up fur full of parasites. It took several hours to shave it off. And here's what it looks like now, thanks to kind, compassionate people. People found a newborn dolphin and basically brought it back to life. That's all for today. If you want more, let us know in the comments and subscribe to our channel.